Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be about energy problems. This is actually regarding an image that I had posted on the community tab, and some people had questions about it, and I also thought like it's a great topic, and um, because I have experienced it, I thought I could give some insight into it and some ways in which we can cure these energy problems and how once we cure these energy problems or try to cure them, start the process of curing them. It can really change the things in our surroundings to a great degree, um, because ultimately everything that we experience in this world is at a level, um, a reflection of the energy that we have inside of us, which gets projected into the world around us. So when we actually understand that, we will understand that we have the power to change a lot of things by changing the energy dynamic that is happening inside of us, inside our being. So that's the topic that we are going to kind of go over in this video. So I just wanted to show the image that I had shared. So this was the image. So this says six typical energy problems, but I just have five because the energy sludge that is given in this image kind of is repetitive according to me. It's kind of similar to stagnant energy. So the first one that we can go into is rips and holes in the aura. So what's an aura? Like what is it? So in pictures you will often see it represented like this. Like the circle around this figure is the aura, and what it means basically is like the energetic field that a human being emanates. Like uh, we all have magnetic energy which is around us, and that's why you feel good near certain people, and near certain people you don't feel so good. Some people are extremely attractive, they are very charming, they have a very strong pull towards certain people feel a pull towards them. So that could be because they have an extremely like masculine oriented energetic field, and if they meet an extremely feminine woman, the woman will get attracted towards the man will get attracted towards the woman, because they both have uh, like their magnetic field is polarized in a certain way. Like it's like negative positive, like that masculine feminine. The best magnetic field to have is one that is balanced in both feminine and masculine energies, so that you are whole complete inside of yourself. You can go with your intuition, you can go with your logic, you can have a balanced outlook on life. So basically aura is this magnetic field that we all have around us. We don't see it, but if you are sensitive enough, if you are calm enough, if you're centered enough, you can feel it. You can feel it when you talk to people, you can feel it when you sit near them. Um, so that's like aura. Another way you can think about it is how your skin actually protects you. Um, like your skin is a protection layer that you have on your flesh, because your flesh, if exposed, can get uh, like infected, or it can get hurt really quickly. So that's why the skin protects the flesh. So think of aura uh, in a similar way. So a person who has a very strong aura, a very strong auric field, they will not get affected so easily by if there's a negative thing happening around them. They don't get affected that easily. um, People who are very like empaths have a big aura. I mean, they have an aura which is very vulnerable to other people, because if they see someone who's sad, they don't understand where their aura ends and where the other person's aura begins, because they have very loose boundaries, because they consider, at some level they know we are all one, but they are not very well equipped with living in this reality where we have individual egos, where we have individual personalities, identities, and basically they don't understand that it's not very helpful to just take on energy and not know what to do with it. So being empathetic is good, but if your aura is very weak, if it's vulnerable to other people's emotions, then you tend to take on those emotions. So empaths have they have since they are more empathetic, their auras are also a little weak, so they have to work extra hard in kind of making sure that their aura is very strong, so that if they see a person who's extremely sad, who's, like maybe a homeless person who's having a really bad day, they don't make their day a bad day because they saw that. Instead they understand, okay, this is the condition that this person is in. How do I help him? I can't help him or her by being sad myself. So empaths in that sense do have to work a little bit more on their aura. Narcissists don't have too many holes in their aura because their sense of identity is so strong. It's actually the opposite of empaths. So they never get affected by other people, but their aura actually goes on other people's aura. So it's like they are taking over your boundaries. Their boundaries keep expanding so much that they are taking over your boundaries. Now an enlightened person, or someone who's like very balanced, that person's aura is also very big, but it's big in a different way. Like a narcissistic person's aura wants to take on your energy, but uh, an enlightened person's aura, or a person who's extremely balanced, their aura also spreads to other people, but instead of spreading fear or dominance, or all of those control, all of those things, it spreads love, it spreads acceptance, it spreads compassion. So whenever you are in presence of someone who's extremely balanced or extremely enlightened, or just vibrating at a higher vibration, you will feel accepted, you will feel good with who you are, you will feel a sense of happiness, calmness inside you. So yeah, so that's what I had to say about auras. So what are some of the problems that auras can have, that your energetic field around you can have? So the first one is rips and holes. So these are pretty similar. So let me just like show the image again. Yeah, so basically, these are the holes and these are the rips, right? So rips is just at the boundary level, and hole is actually not at the boundary, but overall in the aura, it has weakened the aura over time. So let me just explain. So rips are like small hurts that someone can say or do to you, which you did not expect maybe, or which came as a shock, which which kind of shocked you. So those are the small rips. When you don't expect something and something happens, it kind of shakes you. So say you have a friend who is always been a good friend to you, and suddenly you experience like some kind of a dismissal from that friend, maybe because they are going through their own issues, but they kind of put it out on you. So this will cause a rip in your aura, because you will not understand what happened, and for some time you are disturbed, your balance is disturbed, your magnetic field is disturbed. So so it moves from its base vibration, from the base magnetic field it changes a little bit, in a negative way. So that's a rip, and then you might continue friendship with this person, but that will always be there, as an issue in your mind, that why did that person behave like that. Now holes are a little bit more than this. So hole is a like is more is a more is an issue that has been there for a longer time. So, say a person who grew up in in a household that was not very supportive. So, such a person will always have self esteem issues. Not always, but can have self esteem issues. So, that's a hole in the aura. So, whenever something comes up where he or she sees some other person who's better than him or her, this hole in the aura, it shows up. Immediately the person gets triggered that, oh, I have to prove that I'm better than that person. So that's a self esteem issue. If you ever try to prove that you are better than someone, it could be low self esteem or it could be high self esteem. Both of them are basically the same, it's like two ends of the spectrum, but a person who's balanced is right in the middle. That person thinks I am okay the way I am, everyone else is okay the way they are. So such a person has no self esteem issues. So that could be one. Then another thing could be like if someone grew up in a slightly not so well to do financial family, they might always have some sort of insecurity with money. So, whenever the topic of money comes up, they become extra cautious. So, all these things are happening at a very energetic level. Sometimes it might not even be triggering to that person. So, it might not even be such a big trigger, but still it kind of puts you at a state of unease. Whatever topic puts you in a state of unease, you can recognize that as a rip or a hole in your aura. So rips are basically small things like an incident that happened once in a while, but holes are like bigger issues, like just like I said, self-esteem issue, money issue, etc. If you have always been made to feel like you are not intelligent enough, or all of these things, so they are kind of holes because they go back to your childhood. So to fill them or to fix that problem, it's going to take a little bit more of an effort than a rip, which is a once in a while thing that happens. So yeah, so how do you cure it? So to cure it, all of these techniques basically include a lot of visualization. So visualization is basically sitting in a meditative stance, or you can do it when you are extremely relaxed, when say you're traveling in a bus or a car and you feel extremely relaxed, you are not actively doing a lot of things, you can also do it that time. So at that time you can just kind of make an intention that at this point I want to like fill the rips and holes that I have in my aura, and you can visualize this bubble, like it's in the picture around you, and you can visualize like patching up the holes or the rips that have come in your aura. Just kind of imagine fixing them. So you can be creative here, you can use your own way of fixing it. So a lot of people will imagine like, you can imagine like you're taking a needle and a thread and like sewing it together, you're sewing the holes together. You can imagine like a wand that you are just, like flicking over the holes or the rips, and they are joining back together. The holes are joining back together. Some people imagine a feather, some people imagine a rose. So it's up to your imagination how you want to fix it. Sometimes, like, you can be as creative as you want to be. The aim is that you visualize this bubble around you, and you visualize that you are fixing it some way. You can imagine like glue or sellotape or whatever you want to imagine, but just at the end of it, it should be strong. The whatever you fixed, it should be unbreakable again. So you can also imagine it that way in your mind. If you want to fix it with bricks or something, platinum, you can do that. Titanium, you can do that. So it's all up to your imagination how you do it. Then the second one, it's chords of attachment. So these are again energetic chords. These get formed with people who are important in your life. Like the people you think about, the people you care about, the people you are doing things for. You often have chords of attachment with these people, with your family, with your friends, etc. So now having chords is not a bad thing usually. It becomes bad when one of these chords becomes a draining chord. So say you have a friend who's always complaining. They just want to complain and complain and complain, and they don't want to do anything about it. They just want to keep on complaining. So when you talk to such a person for like an extended period of time, you start getting drained by them, because they are your friend. You are paying attention to what they are saying, and the things that they are saying are of a lower vibration, and that is taking energy out of you. So that's how energetic chords get formed that could be draining, maybe in certain circumstances. So so that's what chords of attachment are. So it could also happen that if you have something that someone else wants, and this person might not even be important in your life, but they see that you have this thing that they are really pining after. They look at you and they feel like, I want such a life. I want so and so thing that this person has, or such a relationship, or this job, or this house, something like that. If that person's want of having that is very strong, and if their aura is extremely strong and negative, then they can actually form a cord of attachment to you, even if you meet them for a small amount of time, and even if you don't think about them too much. That's because their energy is extremely strong, and energy gets strong even for people who are in lower vibrations for a long time. It doesn't only get strong when it's in higher vibration. Even in lower vibration, energy can get very strong. That's why there are some people you always kind of hide your success from, because you might have experienced over time that every time you tell them something, something goes wrong in your life, and you kind of notice this pattern. Uh, it's like an analysis, like data analysis that you have done, that every time it can't be coincidence. If it happens like a lot of times, then there is a relation between these two events. So you just come to that conclusion. Of course it's not provable, but if you feel it, it probably could be true. So that also happens sometimes, and that forms a cord of attachment. um, a lot of time people form cords on their solar plexus, because solar plexus is the center of the identity, Manipur chakra. So that gives you a sense of self, or your self-worth comes from that chakra. So many times it happens that people have cords that are going into their Manipur chakra. If there's a person who is always seeking validation from outside, like what does my boss think of me, what does my husband think of me, what do my in-laws think of me, what does my wife think of me, what do my friends think of me, where do I stand in the friends group. So if you are always in these thoughts, you probably have cords of attachment on your solar plexus chakra, because your sense of identity seems to be coming from the outside. So that's a sign that you have cords in your solar plexus chakra. Another thing is, if you find it extremely difficult to speak up, to use your throat to say something is happening which you do not like, and you feel helpless that I cannot speak up about this. So there could be circumstances where you actually cannot speak up because it's a really bad condition. But if you feel this helplessness most of the time in most of the situations, even like maybe in a friends group where you feel like it's okay, like why should I speak up, if you feel such things and if you suppress your voice, that's a big sign that you have cords of attachment on your throat chakra. And this could be a relationship in which you have held yourself back, you have not spoken your truth in that relationship, which has created that cord. And that cord is so strong that it's not helping you, it's like obstructing you from speaking up in other scenarios as well, not just in that relationship. So that many times happens. If you have a cord in your throat chakra, you become kind of unexpressive, not just in that relationship but in other areas of your life as well. So you have to, kind of energetically remove that cord and put it into the earth. So I'm just going to tell you quickly how to cure it. I hope it's a little bit clear what cords of attachment are. So to cure cords of attachment, you can do an energetic cord cutting. Now to do this, again, meditate for some time, be in a place where you are alone, where you feel safe, secure, no one is going to disturb you. And before you remove cords from your body, maybe just set an intention that I want to remove the cords which are not serving my highest good. Because there could be chords that you have to people who are and those chords are completely okay. So you don't want to set an intention of removing all the chords, because we don't want to get completely detached from everyone. But yeah, so basically the chords that are not serving you or that are draining you, you want to get rid of those chords. So yeah, meditate for some time, and then afterwards you can imagine, like you can actually pull it out also. Like many times I do it, like I'll pull it out here and I'll put it. Sometimes I feel like a psychic attack or something, like I feel like suddenly a lot of thoughts are streaming down on my mind regarding something that I'm not even thinking about. So I also take it out from my third eye, because sometimes when your third eye is very active, other people can also catch on to your thoughts. People who have a strong energy themselves, they can also do that, and then they can put a lot of negative thoughts in there, like a fight scenario, or you should have said this, you should have done that, a lot of overthinking scenarios. So you can do cord cutting in that way, because we all are energetically affecting each other, and a lot of times we don't even know how but we are. So yeah, you can actually just pull it out like this, and then when you pull it out, you put it into the earth. So you don't actually have to like touch the earth. If you want to do that, that's okay, but you can also do it on a table or on the floor. And you can say that this energetic cord that is not serving my highest good, I want it to go to the center of the earth and burn itself and get transmuted to something positive. So that way you are setting the intention to release this cord, send it to the earth to ground it, and then to transmute it into something positive, with the magma that is inside the earth. So that is about energetic chords. Also, if you are extremely sensitive, um, it does happen that if you have energetic chords that come to your third eye, you can get headaches. Another thing I have experienced is that whenever someone is talking about me a lot or thinking bad about me a lot, and somehow I am vulnerable at that point of time and the cord attaches to me, I feel pain in my tummy. And whenever I have actually removed the cord, I have had to go to the bathroom right away for, to, basically use the toilet. And it's a sign to me that it's an immediate release, of things that are not serving me. Obviously they're not serving my body, that's why they get excreted. But it's so ridiculous in a way and magical also, that many times I have done a cord removal, and in the next 5 minutes I had to run to the bathroom. So it's crazy how quickly I at least can see its effects. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but that has been my experience, like at least I can say 4 or 5 times till now. So yeah, that is about energetic chords. The next one is energetic debris. So this is very common with empaths. So energetic debris are basically energies that you pick up from other people. So say you started the day pretty happy, in your office or wherever you are, you in your workplace, you meet someone who's having a really bad day, or maybe even they are not having a bad day. They tell you a story about someone, a friend of theirs, who maybe lost a child or something like that, some really sad story. And you listen to it intently, hanging on to each word that they are saying, and you suddenly pick up this sense of like pathos or sadness and grief. And they tell their story, they go, and obviously they are also feeling it, that's why they explained it so well, and that's how you picked up on that energy. But after that, you the rest of your day you're feeling quite down and quite sad, and you're not able to like put a finger on it why you are feeling this way. So, and if you think properly, then you will understand that okay, it's from that point onwards that I started feeling this way. So basically, that's what energetic debris are. It's like energy that you pick up from someone when you are actually really engrossed in their story, and you are actually feeling it with them, because that's a quality of empaths. When you listen to a story intently, you actually live it for that person. So that's a gift. But you don't want to walk around with so much energy that you're picking up from everyone. So how do you cure it? So imagine a big vacuum, a vacuum cleaner, and just imagine that you're like cleaning your entire aura with that vacuum cleaner. And the vacuum cleaner, whatever dirt comes from it, it goes into the center of the earth again, to the magma, so that it'll get burnt and it'll get transmuted. So this is a very helpful technique. I do it for clients who get Reiki done with me. I also do it myself after I have been with a counseling client, or emailing answers to someone, or after Reiki. So I do it myself, because if I am, I myself get very engrossed in people's stories, and I don't want to be carrying that energy around with me. So it's a pretty good technique. Imagine a big vacuum, and whatever energy you have picked up, you can set an intention that whatever energy is in my aura, which is not my own, which is not 100% love and light, will get sucked out of my aura with this vacuum cleaner, and it will go down to the earth. So now all of this sounds very funny, but the reality is that a lot of things that we imagine are actually present, we just don't see them. And if we were super analytical, we would be able to analyze all these things. If our brains were like supercomputers, we would understand this reality. But our brains, as good as they are not very smart. I mean, they are smart, but not as smart as to understand this whole creation. Like, it's not, we don't have a god brain. So everything you imagine is actually quite real in some sense. So when you imagine such things, they are also quite real. And when you imagine your fears, and when you imagine your worries and your anxieties, those also become real, because you are giving it energy, you are putting energy into it. And when you feel anxiety, when you feel worry, when you feel fear, and then you make up these scenarios in your mind, you are giving it energy. So instead of giving energy to your fears and worries and anxieties, it's better you give energy to this big vacuum cleaner, which is cleaning your aura of negative energy, or of energy that is not 100% love and light. So you are actually imagining a lot of things already. It's just very unconscious. You don't know that you are imagining so many things. So instead of imagining negative things, now you imagine things that are going to help you out. And yeah, and because this is conscious imagining, you are consciously imagining like a vacuum cleaner, or you're consciously imagining cords that are getting removed from your body and going to the earth. So it might sound a little bit weird in the beginning, but I would say just give it a shot and try it out. It could really help you. Yeah, and then the last one is stagnant energy. So this energy is your own energy, in areas of your life where you have actually stagnated. So say you have always wanted to learn how to drive a car, but you have not yet taken the initiative to maybe find a driving class, or rent a car and try driving it, or getting your learner's permit, etc. So what has happened is, over the say this scenario has happened, that okay, I want to learn a car, I want to learn a car, I want to learn a car, but you haven't. So what this does is, it creates a stagnant energy. When you go around in circles thinking about an idea without acting on it, it creates stagnation. Even in those thoughts, it creates a stagnant energy. So say you have thought about this for 4 months without taking an action on it, and after the 5th month, whenever you think of like learning to drive a car, it gives you anxiety, because you know that you have stagnated, you have not done your best in this scenario in your life. So that is what stagnant energy is. It creates like a block, like you it's not a big deal learning how to drive a car, but because you have thought about it for the last 5 months, for you it creates a bigger blockage of energy. Another person might just get up one day and decide that today I'm going to start studying, and in a week they'll give the exam, they'll get their learner's permit, and in 2 months they might give the test and start driving the car. So when you hear stories like this, that is going to create more anxiety in you. And it always happens that when you are in such stagnant energy, you start seeing things in your surroundings which remind you more that you have stagnated in this part of your life, and that triggers you more and more and more to kind of move forward in that part of your life. But because of this stagnant energy, you will again find that resistance to do that action, to take that action, because now your brain has been wired in this fashion that, oh, just talk about it, just think about it, get anxious, but don't do anything. So then you need to rewire your brain that, no, next time when I think about it, I'm actually going to follow up with an action on this, whatever task it is. So that's how stagnant energy gets created. So this one is actually pretty much an energy of your own creation. When we stagnate in parts of our life, we encounter this, and I think we all must have encountered this, especially in studying. It happens when you are a student, especially in engineering, and you feel like, oh, today I have to start studying, and you don't. And then you are like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start studying, and then you don't. So it becomes like a block for you, that, oh, I have to get this done. Maybe it's an assignment that you need to get done. So I think students experience this stagnation a lot. So yeah, so to cure this, what you can do is, you can visualize you're clearing this whole aura bubble that you have with a nice wash of water. It's uh, like imagine something in your bathroom, right? That's there to get it to, like, it's stagnating there. To get it to go away, what you'll do is, you'll take a bucket of water and you'll throw water over it, and then finally it'll go down the drain and it'll go down. So that's what you imagine this energy that is in your aura. You're just putting like a bucket of water over it, and it's going away, it's going down again into the ground, and the ground is transmuting it. So yeah, that's what you can imagine. You can also imagine like a hose, or like a pipe with which you are cleaning, like a shower. So water is very useful for removing stagnation, because even emotions, when you don't release them, they become stagnant in your body. So you can and emotions are water, right? So it's related to the element of water. So similarly, stagnant energy also, you can visualize water, you can visualize rain, you can visualize you're standing under a waterfall and it's taking away all the stagnant energy. So yeah, those are some visualizations you can do. So that was this video. I hope it was helpful to you. Please do try it out. I hope it's not too cuckoo for you. Even if it is, I would say just give it a shot. Just for like a fun sake, try it out and see if it helps you. And as always, I thank you all for supporting this channel. I made a wonderful donation today, and all your likes, comments, views, sharing this channel across, whatever platforms you can share them, you can share it, is helping raise more money for different charities. So I want to thank you all for helping me out. And as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.